I've been making beats for a long time, and now I need your help to answer this one question. Am I a better producer than DJ Premier? This all started a few days ago. I was busy doing important research when I saw this infuriating video in my recommendations. Someone made a video saying DJ Premier was the greatest producer of all time, and let me tell you, that threw me into a tizzy. Not many people know this, but me and DJ Premier, we have a complicated history. We came up as producers together way back, but it seemed like every single time there was a big album that came out, he was the one that landed a beat on it. And I was always the one left behind, forgotten about, and ignored. Well, no more. Today, we're gonna finally decide who's a better producer, me or DJ Premier. Now I know what you're probably thinking, DJ Premier is considered one of the greatest producers of all time. He's made some of hip-hop's most memorable songs with the most legendary artists. He's helped advance hip-hop production to what it is today, moving it from simple drum loops with one-shot samples to chopped up and rearranged samples, turning sampling into a true art form. Many would say he deserves a spot on the Mount Rushmore of hip-hop producers, and sure, these are all impressive feats, I won't deny that. But I've accomplished some pretty impressive feats as well, you know. I bet you didn't know that I have a blue belt in Taekwondo. I mean, I don't want to brag or anything, it is true. I got it when I was 12 years old. Anyways, here's how we're gonna figure out whether I'm a better producer than DJ Premier. I'm gonna take a sample that DJ Premier used in one of his beats. Then I'm gonna make my own beat out of it. After that, we'll compare the two beats and you can decide who made the better beat. Then and only then, we will finally have the answer as to who's a better producer, me or DJ Premier. Here's a sample that I'll be using. It's the same sample DJ Premier used for his beat in Soliloquy of Chaos by Gangstar. I'll leave a link to the full track in the description if you want to check it out. So here we go. Let's take this sample and hopefully make a better beat out of it. And by the way, if you want to see more of these types of videos, hit like and subscribe and let the algorithm know. And if you have any other producers that you want me to compete against, just leave a comment down below and let me know. So back to the sample, it sounds like DJ Premier looped this section after doing some slight repitching to it. Definitely a cool part of the sample, a great choice for his beat. I'm gonna force myself to use a different part of the sample though. I wanna push myself to make something that's different than what he made. And so using the exact same part of the exact same sample will just make that harder. So let's see what else we can find later on in this sample. Now, as you can hear, this sample just has a lot going on in it. Tons of instrumentation, crazy drums all over the place. This is just gonna make things harder for me. One thing that I like to do in this type of situation is to slow the sample way down. That way it becomes easier to find more open parts of the sample because the instrumentation isn't playing as fast. Now let's look through this exact same sample and see what we can find this time. What happened next was I spent 20 minutes trying to find a cool part of the sample but came up with nothing. This challenge already proved to be harder than I thought. Things were starting to look hopeless. Maybe I had to finally admit that DJ Premier was better than me after all. Alright, well that didn't work. Let's try a different approach instead. Let's start by building the drum pattern first instead of using the sample, and hopefully this will shake some ideas loose. Okay, that's the drum pattern complete. Let's play through the different pieces of this sample while the drum pattern loop is playing and hopefully some idea just jumps out. I honestly have no idea what I'm looking for or whether I'll find anything, but here we go. Wait, I think this might be a really cool idea here. Let's listen to that chop again. That sounds like a pretty cool idea that we can use for this beat. The problem with using this short chop is that it might get repetitive, just repeating it over and over again. So let's try to find some other piece of the sample that can help introduce some variation. This piece here might be perfect. Alright, I think we have a loop. Let's hear how all this sounds when put together once we add in our drums. Alright, so far so good. Let's continue to add more into this beat. Now I could go into my library of sounds on my computer and add sounds that I've found from all over the internet, but I want to challenge myself to just sticking with the sample. Back in the days, producers were really limited by the hardware that they used to make beats. Often they were only able to use a small amount of sounds in their beats because the hardware that they used only had so much memory. So I want to limit how many advantages I have with my modern production capabilities. I'm also going to use basic production tools as well, no fancy plugins or anything. So next, let's do some EQing to our sample to add this layer in. What I did here was I duplicated the exact same loop that we built, and I removed many of the higher frequencies, so we're just left with that bass. And I'll layer this underneath my loop just to make the low end louder and more dense. I also found this little noise here that isn't a huge addition by any means, but I think this can be a cool little rhythmic sound in our beat. Next, I think figuring out an interesting arrangement for this beat is going to be really important. This loop sounds good, but I will need to do a lot more work to keep this beat from sounding boring and repetitive. Starting off, I'll take this piece of the same sample to create an intro. And every 4 bars, I think it's going to be a good idea to create some kind of switch up. It doesn't have to be big or anything, it just needs to be something that can help the beat from sounding as monotonous. Now, in case you think I'm being a scoundrel here is proof that this came from the exact same sample. How dare you question me? Next up for the hook, I'm going to use the exact same piece from the same sample, but pitch it up an octave to create this layer. And here I automated my filtering so it almost sounds like an EDM drop or something. Let's do something special for this upcoming area right after the hook though. I'm going to switch up my main loop and use this chop here instead. This just brings a different energy into the beat, and by using this chop, we create a pretty cool switch up. And then this beat goes back into the normal loop, and so on and so on. Alright, here's what you've been waiting for. It is time to vote. Who used this sample better? Was it me or was it DJ Premier? If you like my beat better, hit thumbs up. If you don't think it's better and you prefer DJ Premier's beat, then hit the subscribe button. Yes, that will be our voting system. Whether you prefer my beat or DJ Premier's, if you want some tips on how you can make these old school boom bap beats like this, I really recommend checking the video right next to my face. In it, I show you some of the best tips and tricks that you need to know to make boom bap beats that actually sound old school, even if you're using newer production software. So if you like these beats and you want to learn how to make them, click the video. You will not regret it. And hit like and subscribe while you're at it. But yeah, seriously, watch the video.